Africa galleries here at the British Museum, but this is a special, separate exhibition which looks at some of the wonderful textile traditions of southern and eastern Africa. It's been something close to my heart for the last 10 years, and I've been researching traditions like shweshwe from southern Africa, extraordinary Sutu blankets originally from Lesotho, but you see them all over South Africa as well. And fantastic traditions like kanga from Kenya and Tanzania, kapelana from Mozambique. And it's very exciting. They're traditions that haven't really been studied very much by scholars, and I've recently written a book called African Textiles Today, and this exhibition is based not just on my fieldwork over the last 10 years, but also loosely on one chapter from that book. So here we are in a section looking at these textiles called kanga. Kanga is the Kiswahili word for guinea fowl, and we don't know how that name originated. Maybe something to do with the spotted patterns on the early textiles called kanga. The ones you see behind me are very modern. So there's one celebrating the election of Barack Obama, whose father was Kenyan, so great rejoicing in Kenya. Commiserating at the death of Michael Jackson, remembering his life, but also looking at extraordinary kind of global concerns like the HIV and AIDS epidemic. Kanga is an amazing way of communicating through the images that you see on the textiles, but also the slogans that are printed underneath them. They all have these printed slogans. They're worn mainly by women, and they're used as a means of communicating ideas maybe that can't be said out loud. And we've looked at kangas which examine kind of global issues, but also kangas that look very much at personal concerns about marital relations, about friendship, about life and death. And it's been a great opportunity to put together some of the ideas that people confront throughout Africa, but particularly, I think, for this exhibition in eastern and southern Africa. So here we've got kangas that deal with kind of local issues and concerns. Behind me you can see the mango tree and the slogan, Mwembe Tayari, which means the mangoes are ready. And it's a message from wife to husband to help himself, a friendly message. And behind me also is, you can see up at the back there, the red and black one. It's called Kisutu, the wedding kanga. It's one of the very few that doesn't have a slogan on it. Although this one I purchased maybe 10 years ago now, and today they do tend to have them. This one here is about a little, it's a kind of women's collective in Tanzania. The woman is the catalyst to development. That's the bicycling kanga woman on a bicycle, which is the logo of this particular little collective, which is rather nice. But let's go over and have a look at some of the other South African textiles that we've got in the collection. So here, these textiles are from Southern Africa, behind me from Mozambique and also South Africa, Swaziland, and Madagascar, Angola further down. We'll talk about those in a moment, but immediately behind me is this wonderful dress made of shweshwe, celebrating the life of Master Sulu, Albertina Sisulu, Walter Sisulu's wife. And behind that, another textile celebrating the life of Nelson Mandela. Both of them made of this extraordinary material called shweshwe, which obviously everybody knows about in South Africa, but when I first came to South Africa, I knew nothing about it at all, and it's been very interesting to find out more where the name came from. So when I started researching shweshwe, I went to downtown Joburg to some of the textile stores there, but there was a power cut. And I went to this textile shop and I said, I'm looking for shweshwe, but I must have 3 cats shweshwe, either that or 3 leopards, which is the trademark of the shweshwe, that's the real shweshwe that's produced in King Williamstown by the company Dagama. And he said, would you like this? And I said, is that 3 cats? He said, no, what I want is 3 cats. He said, well, they may be at the back of the shop, but because there's a power cut, it's very dark there. So he gave me a torch, and I scrambled around on these piles of textiles. And then I emerged with this. And he said, well, why do you want it with a label on? And I said, that's because it exactly tells me all about the fact that it's from Da Gama. I reckon those cats probably, these textiles used to be made in Manchester. And I think that probably dates back to the 30s or something like that. But it's got indigo blauwdruk on it, blueprint, and I was very excited to find this. He couldn't understand why I wanted a piece of textile only about 3 foot square. I said I want it for the museum, not to make a dress out of, you know. And then I think he understood. So this is one of an amazing triptych donated to us by Papa George, a South African artist. And it talks about the kind of receding glaciers on Mount Kilimanjaro. The triptych's called Kilimanjaro Southern Glaciers, and 3 monumental works of art. She actually uses ash from the crater of Kilimanjaro.
Hello, my name is Catherine Elliott. I'm a museums assistant here at the British Museum. I work in the Department of Africa, Oceania and the Americas in the Africa section. And I love working especially with the Southern African collections. Behind me here is a Sena Morena blanket. It's in the Pune or Mili or maize design, and apparently this particular colorway, the blues with the yellow, is currently the most popular amongst initiates. It's really this photograph over here by artist Araminta de Clermont that started the fieldwork, the aspects of the fieldwork relating to the blanket. Armed with this picture, we went to Marabastad in Pretoria, to Cassim's stores, and in speaking to Mr. Cassim, he pointed me to this blanket produced by Aranda in Randfontein. This is a Sena Morena blanket in the maize, Mili or Pune design. You will notice the yellow stripes. These stripes are thought to originate with a weaving floor long ago, but the stripes have become a requirement and are usually worn on the vertical. They're referred to as pinstripes. Over here we've got part of a quote from a song, Ntate Ntekele Sena Morena, which means, Father, please buy me a Sena Morena, the King's Blanket. This particular song, we got the lyrics from the ILAM, which is the International Library of African Music in Grahamstown. And this song was recorded in the 1970s. It's still very much in use, like the blanket, and the lyrics can be changed to suit the occasion, like the blanket. The blanket can be worn to weddings, funerals, graduation ceremonies. People wear their blanket with pride. This is the Karetsa blanket, a Sotho blanket, and it depicts at its center the spiral aloe or Karetsa of Lesotho. Apparently, it's indigenous to Lesotho, and the male plant grows in one direction and the female spirals in the other direction. Other symbolism on the blanket include the Sotho shield with knopkiri and spear, and of course the mokorotlo, the famous Basotho hat.
So here we are, we've got a kanga, and it says in Kiswahili, Karibu Mgeni, which means welcome stranger. And I'd like to welcome all global South Africans, all global Africans, to come to have a look at this exhibition. I think you'll enjoy it. You'll see some of the things that are familiar to you from home, but also I think you'll see a lot of the things that maybe you didn't expect to find here. So welcome, come and visit.